Welcome to Pages Pixels. Today I actually have a special guest. I think it's been like a year since you've been on the show, Carlos. I think right. Fantastic Four was the last time you were here.
Yeah, it was Fantastic Four. So, expect to see me for whatever superhero summer movie comes out.
Yeah, I'll call him my resident superhero expert. Since Kevin is definitely not into uh the big comic book movies. You're into them, but not as much. Not as much. I think the two of us are definitely out of our group. We're the two comic book junkies.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, at least movie wise. Um, but yeah, we are going to be talking, of course, about the new Supergirl movie, the follow up to uh the second movie entry into the new DCU after Superman. And before we begin, just remember, please subscribe and like this video. It really helps us out. All right, so let's jump right into it. Supergirl. Um, kind of what'd you think? What were your big picture thoughts?
I would say overall, I did enjoy it, but I expected a bit more. I wouldn't even say a bit. I expected a lot more. Um, I mean, let's talk about what we liked, right? I'll
Yeah,
I'll start with what
let's
I
do it.
liked. Um, I liked Amelia Alcock. I like her portrayal of
Yes.
Supergirl. I think she was hands down the absolute best part of the movie.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Um, and my second favorite character would be Crypto, who was only in the movie for like 10 minutes.
Kind of a waste. I kind of wish
Yeah,
he was, especially because they do sell it like it's a space adventure with the two of them, and then he's just
right.
only in there in the beginning.
And then my third favorite character, no one really.
Lobo?
Honestly, nah. No, I'll
Okay.
get to Lobo, but I think that's for me already. That's one of the biggest weaknesses of the characters. But talking about the ones I do like, I think Millie's portrayal of Supergirl was really great, and I think one of my favorite things that they did was how um, they introduced her in Superman at the very end as this
Hmm.
like rule breaking, like, oh, she shows up drunk party girl type of thing, right? So that's already a stark contrast with Superman, who's like the Boy Scout, right? Um, so you're already kind of thinking like, oh, they're completely different personalities. Let's go. I think the last time, at least that I remember, well, I was about to say the last Supergirl portrayal was going to be Melissa Benoit in the CW, but I forgot about Sasha Cal, who, I mean, she was in the Flash for like 5 minutes. I don't really count that, but I'm kind of used to
Yeah.
seeing the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, Melissa, is it Benoit or Benoist? I don't know.
Oh, I can never pronounce it right.
Okay. Um, whatever. How you'll do one, I'll do the other. I'll say Benoist, because I'm not sure either. But uh, yeah, I mean, I've seen like 2 or 3 seasons of that show. I enjoyed it. It's a CW show. It's a little bit cheesy, but
Mhm.
it is what it is. Um, Sasha, uh, is it Sasha Kaye, I believe. She
Oh,
was, yeah, not bad by any means, but like you said, she's like barely in that movie, and we barely know her as an actual character.
yeah, she only really exists in whatever alternate universe they were trying to go for there.
Yeah.
But I think Melissa would probably be the bigger comparison for me because when that show came out, she really did seem just like, yeah, this is Superman as a girl. Not a bad thing, but I enjoyed her portrayal. But then we go to Millie, and I think her portrayal was not Supergirl, right? She definitely created her own take on the character,
Hmm.
and I think the thing I enjoyed the most was I actually read this the other day that while in Superman, uh, Clark carries the what's it called, like the hope of his people,
Hmm.
following the destruction of Krypton, Millie kind of follows like the despair, right? So Millie
Yeah.
actually saw, or Millie Supergirl, she saw the destruction of Krypton. Her parents like kind of send her off, like, hey, you need to be the one that leaves, that spread good, all this stuff. But she saw the destruction, so it affected her a lot more than how it affected Clark in Superman, because all he saw about Krypton was in videos, right? So I think they already have a stark difference there, where one only saw it in recordings, the other experienced it firsthand. So that moment kind of characterized both of them, and I like the direction. I mean, it explains why she drinks a lot, or she just wants to party. She doesn't really care about a lot of things because she's experienced like that despair firsthand, and I do like how they portrayed her for it.
Yeah, I would agree. And like I said, I like that she's not just like you said, she's not just Superman, but a girl. She is her own um personality, which I feel like most other iterations of Supergirl has always kind of just been like, Superman is the Boy Scout, Supergirl is the Girl Scout.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm enjoying that they went in a completely different direction. And like you said, Millie Alcock as Supergirl works. I think she's a great actress. I really loved her in season one of House of the Dragon. Of course, she got recast. That's nothing to do with her. The show went and had a huge time jump.
Right, right.
So they just got an older performer for that role. But I mean, so her performance continues to be great. And I feel like she elevates the material because I don't think the material is the best. Um, yeah, crypto's awesome. Um, Underutilized. I really think that they should have figured out a way to have him part of the action, especially because you're dealing with like the crime world. I mean, it could have been like, I think in John Wick 3 when you have the Halle Berry character and
Oh,
she like whistles and the dogs attack. It could have been like that, but with crypto, in the underworld of whatever solar system that they're in. It's a
I mean,
missed
we
opportunity
see,
to not have crypto.
yeah, we see Superman do that in Superman. He whistles and Crypto just comes in like a furry bullet, like
Yeah,
destroying
I mean,
stuff.
I was especially because they established in the Superman movie that crypto is her dog, it's not his dog. So I was really excited to see like, okay, how are they going to use crypto, and then they don't. Uh,
He just drives the plot forward, if anything.
yeah, um, I do want to touch upon Lobo real quick
Hmm.
because I mean I really like Jason Momoa as Lobo. I think um I think there's issues with him, but I mean, I think Jason Momoa's casting is great, especially because I feel like Momoa is he's kind of just being himself, but it works. A lot of
Yeah, and
times
then mhm.
I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
times that can get annoying, but I, it works. The same way how Robert Downey Jr. is kind of being himself for Iron Man.
What about when Ryan Reynolds is being himself in all of his movies?
Yeah, that's one of those where I'm getting a little tired of.
Right. I liked Lobo, or I liked Jason Momoa as Lobo, I should say. And I do like, the kind of background info of, he's been wanting to play this character for a long time now.
Mhm.
So it was great to see how he brought the character to life. My issue with him, and it's more so Lobo in the overall movie, I feel like didn't need to be there. I don't really, I don't think he contributed much at all. Like he didn't even advance the plot forward. You kind of see
Yeah.
them meet up at the bar, right, or whatever that's supposed to be,
Hmm.
and you think they're gonna have a common interest when they really don't. They're just kind of doing this. They have the same goal, but they're not even interacting with each other to it. You kind of just see them come and go.
Yeah, and I feel like feel like if they really wanted to use him in this movie, he should have. His goal was to get one of the side or one of like I can't even remember the name of the main villain. That's how forgettable that guy was.
Yeah.
His goal was to get one of the henchmen. Why not have his goal as a bounty for the main guy, and he needs him alive, but the little girl is trying to kill him, and then that's the conflict because then he's like, okay, I will kill whoever gets in my way, including this little girl. Um,
Hmm.
I think that would have provided a little bit more conflict and more of a justification as to why he's in this movie. I
Yeah.
also, yeah, I also just feel like, I mean, I expected there to be like some kind of history with Supergirl because she immediately goes, "Oh my God, it's Lobo," and she does this little info dump on him, which, by the way, there was way too many of those. The little like, "Oh my God, it's this person," and then he does blah blah blah. Um,
Yeah. There was a
but
lot of that.
yeah, she could have. I thought there was going to be some history because she immediately recognizes him, but then he has no idea who she is.
Yeah. Actually, to your point, right? If they did go that route, where he also had a bounty, he needs him alive, because then at some point, they would have clashed with each other, which I don't think we saw that.
No, we didn't.
That would have been a lot more interesting. And you're right. I mean, Kara is over here talking about how Lobo was like this guy with a god complex who's super powerful, this and that, blah blah blah. And it's like, oh, so you've ran into him before? No,
Yep.
oh, okay. It they really did just put Lobo in the movie, and that's it. There was not
Yeah.
much going on with that decision.
I'm sure there's going to be more with him. I just don't think this was the strongest jumping off point.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to give him the introduction that they gave Black Panther in Civil War, where I think that was the first movie you saw him. He was like, "Oh, it was really cool to see him," and then you're gonna get a solo movie with him. Um, I but I think the movie actually in Civil War there was a reason for him to be there.
Well, yeah, he was very important in that movie. I mean, the scene where they blew up the building, and the old king died, right? His dad. That was that drove the plot forward in the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, like like I said, the crypto drove the plot forward, even though he was only in there for 10 minutes. Lobo didn't do anything for the plot.
Hmm.
If anything, they just showed off his like action, like fighting style, which is cool. But again, not
Yeah.
pivotal to the movie.
Yeah. Crypto driving the plot forward though was not it okay, it felt like a poison your dog is poisoned and is gonna die and you have to get the antidote. That just felt like it just felt like they couldn't come up with anything else.
Hmm.
And they're like, how do we get Supergirl involved when she doesn't care? It's okay, just have her dog be poisoned.
Yeah, so it's not a great way to move the plot, but
Yeah.
what they decided on, and also it's funny, right? Because you called her the little girl, and that just goes to show how forgettable a lot of these characters are.
Hmm.
Like, she also felt really shoehorned in to move the story along, right?
Hmm.
Like, her whole family got destroyed by the villain whose name I'm just not going to remember. Piercing Face, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
Kills her
I don't
family.
even care enough to look it up, honestly.
I don't either. I oh he's a trafficker and whatever. Okay, cool. I know how to hate him. That's fine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they
And yeah, so him being like a basically and I don't know if Kirsten's gonna decide to cut this out, but I'll let her. He's basically, space Jeffrey Epstein.
pretty
But
much.
yeah. Um but that honestly just feels like so it just feels lazy where it's like, okay, we gotta make a villain, how do we make him hateable? Okay, he traffics girls.
Yeah, I So one thing I'll say though about that, however, right? Superman also dealt with controversial topic, at least in this
Oh yeah.
climate for some reason, about definitely not Israel, definitely not Gaza,
Yeah.
definitely not Palestine, right? Like all those fictional countries that I wonder what they're supposed to mean. Um,
Yeah.
this movie's dealing with trafficking, which I do like that they at least made an attempt to connect it with the real world like issues at the moment. Um, However, exactly what you said, it just felt like we're gonna make him a trafficker, so to hate him and everyone else.
Yeah.
And it's like I know they're the bad guy. Like if you add that, that's cool and all. I wish they did a better job with it. If you're gonna handle a topic like that, I expect a bit more.
I agree. I think Superman, it was they really connected it. They connected um they connected it to like how like you have just rich people with money influence and what their
Mhm.
plan is. Lex Luthor was gonna like he was involved with the I think Baravia was the country um or I don't know if Baravia was the invader or the one being invaded, but he was Lex Luthor was working with the invaded country to basically um destroy the other country, and then he had plans to kind of build his own like casinos and all that, which has come out, and we've seen kind of real billionaires do that, and Lex Luthor has the power and money to influence the government, like the U.S. government, to turn a blind eye. And
Mhm.
he partners with all of them, and then of course a lot of that stuff is not directly explored in Peacemaker, but a lot of the characters pop up again. So I think Superman actually delved deep into those issues and made the movie about it, while Supergirl, it's just like it was more of just like, okay, why should the why should the audience root against this villain? Well, he's a trafficker.
I think it
Yeah.
might have been interesting if, like, let's say he somehow had custody of like human girls, like from Earth. Maybe that would give a little bit more relevance, or at least more importance to it. Like, oh wow, there's traffickers all over the universe, right? But I don't
Hmm.
know. I think it was still a very cheap way to make a hateable villain.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they didn't really delve into it. Like, I mean, did we really like know any of the girls that had been kidnapped?
We only
Um,
one.
Sort of. I mean, we met they met her parents.
Yeah,
Um, and it was like a very quick thing. And then she ends up dying too. So,
yeah. Which I kind of like that. It showed. I think it showed more that like, oh yeah, Supergirl's definitely not Superman. Superman would have saved her. Supergirl's still getting her bearings on, you know.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, actually that reminds me of one other thing about the villain. I never felt like he was a threat in any way. Um, he was always kind of like okay, so I recently rewatched The Dark Knight Rises, and I know that movie is very divisive. Some people hate it. I love it. One of the things I love about it is Bane, because whenever he is in any room, he feels like he feels like a threat, and
Yeah,
um, just from minute one, and of course you have that halfway fight sequence when he just destroys Batman in a straight up fight, and you're like, oh my god, this guy, how are you gonna beat him? I never felt like that with him. If anything, I was just kind of waiting for Supergirl to lock in because I'm like, okay, once she locks in, it's wraps.
it
And
took a
that's kind of what
while.
happened.
I mean, I think he had a lot of goons, right? He had a lot of henchmen, and they just had to go
Yeah,
through waves of guys to get to him. Um, he really didn't feel threatening at all. He felt annoying, if anything. He felt like one of those
yeah.
like gangsters who thinks he's all like hot stuff when
Hmm.
it's just like you're just annoying. And I don't know how you, out of all of them, became the leader.
Yeah, and it didn't feel like because I know Lex Luthor was a big goofy also. But I think Superman makes that movie, or I think that movie makes it a point to make Lex Luthor goofy.
Hmm.
Because it's like he's not this like cool like billionaire. He's a bit yeah he's goofy, and it's like that's the point. You're supposed to laugh at him.
Yeah,
Batman
he's a
versus
bit
Superman, I
unhinged.
think, tries to do the same thing, but doesn't do it well. Feel like this movie he came off as goofy, but more unintentional.
I think another like flaw as well was the reason why they're traffickers is because they're an all male race.
Oh yeah,
Um, I don't know how much fantasy that you might be into, but that's a common trope for characters like goblins or orcs
yeah, yeah.
that they kidnap women because they're all male. And I'm like, that's so stupid. That was the first thing I thought of. Like, you said it earlier, right? If they're supposed to be the Jeffrey Epstein of space, hey, give them as scary and evil as Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
And then I would have
Um,
felt more sympathy. Well, not that I didn't feel sympathy, but then it would have been more exciting.
yeah, their world didn't even seem like lived in any way. Like, I mean, their ship, I don't think you ever really got like what the geography of their ship is. Their planet. It kind of just looked like okay, they found a beach to film in. Um,
Hmm.
you didn't get a feeling for like okay, where did these guys actually live? What are they doing when they're not kidnapping girls? It also when they introduced him, um, it seemed the introduction was a mess too because he was after. They said he was after the swords.
Yeah,
Um,
the
yeah, well, he kills the family, but he doesn't take the sword. Um, and he kind of like, sorry, continue.
no, no, no. I was gonna say, I think he took all the other swords, and then the daughter, the little girl that we follow, she has one sword, the most important sword.
Maybe,
I don't know why it's the most important sword. I don't know what's
but
so
do we
great about
see the
this guy's
swords?
swords.
Yeah, do we see the swords again? Like, um, at all? This beyond that, like we don't ever see him admiring them or
Hmm.
learning about like, hey, what makes these swords so special
Yeah,
and all
like
that.
why did the guy live all the way in like the middle of nowhere space?
Hmm.
Like, why are the swords so important? It would have been cool if like let's say, the goons used them like in the fight scenes. That would have been
Yep.
something, but they didn't even
Hmm.
do that.
Yeah, and then you find out later that okay, what he actually does is kidnaps little girls. And I'm not saying I needed this little girl to get kidnapped, but it's like he killed the whole family, and there was a little girl, and he kind of looked at her and left her.
Yeah,
It's like, isn't that your like? What was the point of that scene?
yeah. Like, what are your motives, dude? Like, you're kind of all over the place. You're just a bad
Yeah,
guy for the sake of being a bad guy.
yeah. It just seems like that the whole point for that scene to happen, for him to go to that house, is like, hey, let's have a an intro to our villain and show how menacing he is.
Hmm. Yeah. Although I did like that she killed him.
Yes. That's been a
That was
big
cool.
debate online. Um,
I'm not surprised.
I I remember I was thinking in the theater that like, um, I hope she doesn't spare him because I know that she was trying to get the girl to not kill him.
Hmm.
And in my head, I was thinking like, I'm like, you just killed all of his henchmen minutes ago. Uh, what difference does this guy make really? And I guess the only kind of thing is like, okay, I guess you could argue that it was in the battle when she killed them and not like just after the battle was over. But then yeah, she kills him, and I did like that. I do think that it was a bit like all over the place with her character though, because I think there was a moment earlier where one of the other girls who's been kidnapped kills one of the henchmen, and Supergirl kind of like nods in approval, but then she's trying to
Oh. Forgot
Yeah,
about
but
that.
then she's trying to like get this the main little girl to not kill the guy because it's like it's gonna ruin your life. And and then also, so she kills him, and then after that, she's like, "I'm gonna go to Earth and be good and help people." And I just don't think any of that makes any. I just don't think any of that tracks.
Yeah, I think it might have just been one of those things where it's oh, because she spent so much time with the little girl, she kind of sees herself in her a bit, but she doesn't want her to like, succumb or to like the depression that like, she's gone through. Again, what I brought up in the beginning, right? She carries a despair of her people. Although this little girl also saw her family get killed in front of her, so I think she's, good luck in therapy, dude.
Hmm.
It was still satisfying, I would say, in a movie that didn't really have a lot of satisfying moments.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I
And
just don't think her whole arc makes sense.
yeah, but I do think it still somehow gives her depth.
Mhm.
I know I said this to you like a couple days ago, but at first it reminded me of the ending of Man of Steel where he kills what's his guy?
Zod.
Zod.
Yeah,
Um and then I was like, nah, it's not the same.
it's not because I'm I've seen that comparison, but at least the way that Man of Steel had it set up was that Zod was kind of saying Zod was powerful, no prison was going to hold him, and he was basically saying like I will destroy Earth, and he was about to laser a family, and then Superman snaps his neck. Still a controversial decision. I understand the controversy behind it, but yeah, in this one, this guy is like beat, and she just grabs, she just stabs
Yeah,
him immediately.
got the special sword.
Yep. Yeah. I just anything else?
Yeah, I did want to talk a bit about like this whole thing with female superheroes, right?
Hmm.
I was excited when they announced Supergirl. I was really excited. I liked the character a lot. Like I said, I mean, I watched the CW's version, really liked her. So hearing that, oh, they're going to do a movie about Supergirl too, that's awesome. And for this to be the final product is a bit disappointing because I just feel like when it comes to female-led superhero movies, you have Wonder Woman, Snyder's Wonder Woman, right? Captain Marvel in the MCU, Black
Hmm.
Widow in the MCU, um, and while those movies obviously made money, they made money because they were kind of already established within their cinematic universes. The reception of the characters is where it gets dicey, right? Um, and
At
I
least the
think it's
movies.
just what's that?
I think most people, at least the movies. I think most people like Black Widow. But then I
Yeah,
think the Black Widow movie itself was kind of eh.
right,
The first Wonder Woman movie was very well received. It's the second one that was where the reviews kind of fell off a cliff.
right. And then you have something like Captain Marvel, which also was very. I think Brie Larson just got so much hate that she didn't deserve to get, in my
But
opinion.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that was. Mm,
and then I'm thinking about like the who's like the most recent female comic book hero. I think it's Yelena from the MCU, but she doesn't even have her own solo movie. She was introduced in Black Widow and all this stuff,
and
right?
then
I think,
Thunderbolts.
yeah. So she's getting received well, but her standout role in Thunderbolts was more of an ensemble movie, not a solo movie. I think when it comes to writing like a solo, like female-led superhero movie, you know, they need to put a lot more care into how they're going to write these stories, because you know you've seen the internet backlash about this movie with from the incel community, right?
Oh yeah,
And how people were turning on Millie, and I'm just like, okay, you guys are gross and terrible. But when a movie does poorly, all it does is fuel that type of hate, right?
oh yeah. Um,
So yeah, the concern is, at least for me, is people are going to see that and not really give this movie a shot.
yeah. And unfortunately I can't even like hype up this movie. Like I don't think it's gonna have legs because even the people who did give it an honest shot and were excited for it, like us, kind
Mhm.
of walked away going, yeah, whatever, it's fine. It's not awful, but am I, out of all the stuff that's out in theaters, if somebody comes up to me and is like, "Hey, which movie should I go watch this weekend?" Supergirl is probably not going to be the one that I recommend.
Yeah, and while I'm excited to see what they do with her character next, again, I love how they did her character.
I
It
agree.
makes me a bit it makes me a bit more nervous for what's going to be the next female superhero movie. I hope they kind of
Yeah.
take this and learn from the mistakes, whether it's Marvel or DC or whoever does it first. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, put as much care and attention as you do for stuff like Batman, like Reeves Batman or it's anything like
Hmm.
that. You got to get good writers on the thing. I'm not even saying that they're bad writers, I guess, but I want more care done for female superheroes, so we kind of move away from the mindset that female led bad.
Hmm. I think one of the issues is it's a bit of fear because a lot of a lot of studio heads still believe that doing a female-led superhero movie is a risk. So they're like, "Hey, we're taking a massive risk. Play everything else as safe as you possibly can." And I think now the more, for lack of a better word, generic superhero movies, people don't care much for them. People want superhero movies that actually feel unique, like the Matt Reeves Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Even like the newest Superman. The newest Superman does feel like a regular superhero movie, but then anyone who watches that movie can see the commentary on real world politics
Mm-hmm.
that it's doing. And unfortunately, I just think with movies like Supergirl, um, they just they just tried to play it safe, because in their mind they're already making a risk taking um, by making it a female-led superhero movie, and as a result, the story just doesn't feel. It just feels bland. Uh, you know, give me give me a female version of something like the Matt Reeves Batman, something like Logan, where they are superhero movies, of course, but they're not just superhero movies. They have, you know, Batman feels like a noir movie. Logan feels like a western.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the terminology used right now that this just felt like generic superhero slash sci-fi slop.
Yeah,
It didn't
yeah.
feel unique.
Mhm.
So yeah, again, I think I understand, unfortunately, that studios are afraid to use these female characters, but I just wish they just get over it and do it right. I have hopes. The one I predict is gonna do well. Um, when the new X Men come out, I
Yeah.
think that's gonna be. I think that's gonna be a shift. So
Is that
let's
going
see
to
what
be
they do.
female led, or is there just going to be female
No, but
characters in the movie?
I'm saying characters that they can probably create solo stuff out of.
Right. Hmm.
Because right now, I mean, who do we have? Like, you have Zatanna. People don't really know much about her. Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. I mean, Harley Quinn did kind of have a like shot in the
The
limelight.
movie.
Um,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
although Birds of Prey
and
didn't get
I
very much.
loved that movie.
Yeah,
But I think it came out like right when the pandemic was happening. Um,
yeah.
so that kind of screwed it over.
There's just a lot going against it.
Hmm.
But yeah, I guess I hope this is a. While the movie might not have been the greatest, I hope it's a step in the right direction for the next female-led hero movie.
Hmm. I agree. All right. Any final thoughts, or we want to move on to our ratings?
We can do the ratings.
All right. All right, so as a reminder, or in case you are new, the way we score things here on Pages Pixels is on the script coverage scale. There is pass, and when we think a movie is, not good, consider. When we think it's decent, and recommend. when we actually think it's great. As a reminder, this is just a score, it's not an actual recommendation. So, with that said, how do you score Supergirl?
I would give it a consider. I mean, I know we talked a lot of bad stuff, but I feel like the good stuff also is worth watching. I mean, if again, I think Millie did a fantastic job, and I think her portrayal alone is worth watching.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a consider. I think I feel like what I said at the end is kind of sums up my thoughts. It's not bad, but it is kind of generic, and because of that, it's a little just forgettable.
Hmm.
Um, but it's competently made and all that. I'm not watching this going, just what the hell are they doing? So
Yeah, yeah, like I definitely didn't think I wasted my time.
yeah, and like you said, I if they announce a Supergirl 2, I will show up because I liked the Supergirl character. Um, I just wish she was in a better movie.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So before we sign off, real quick, just wanted to ask, what else kind of have you been watching lately? Anything interesting? Can be comic related, can not be comic book, whatever you want.
Lately, what I've been watching, I think I told you I recently finished the second season of Beef,
Yeah, that was
and I'm
good.
and I'm still thinking about it. Honestly,
Yeah,
like like the
yeah,
other
that
day, I was going
was
through Netflix, and I'm like, ah, do I want to watch Beef again?
yeah, that was a really good. I mean, I love season one also. Season two, I love that how big it was because it just felt like a completely different show. It
Oh
didn't
yeah,
feel
for sure.
like, yeah, it didn't feel like the same show with a bigger budget and less interesting. It's just like let's just make something completely new. Um, and yeah, I was so invested, and I kept going back and forth on like, oh, I like this character and I hate this character, and then it just kept
Yeah,
switching.
which I think that's what it did such a good job in. Like, you know, because originally I thought the whole show was going to be, all right, let's see what the argument is and how it escalates, and then everyone was like at each other's throats. It was crazy.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. I what have I been watching? Oh, I finished Rising Impact. Um,
Okay.
it's yeah, I think I brought it up last week. But now I've actually finished it. I didn't love the ending, but overall, oh my God, that show was so fun. It's so stupid. Um, because it's a sports anime and it's you see people who are supposed to be regular people, but they basically have like superpowers for their sport.
Sports
Um,
animes are always great. Just
yeah, they're
everyone
so
has,
fun.
yeah.
I think sports animes might actually just be my favorite genre.
Mhm.
Uh, Now the more that I think about it, because they have the intensity that all the actual action anime does. Um,
Yeah,
but then it just ends up being really fun because at the end of the day they're just playing a sport, and usually the villain who's like super evil is just another player that's good at the sport, and then when he loses, he ends up being like a nice guy because he's just a normal guy.
they always treat the villains like from the rival school or team or whatever, like this is the worst person in history.
Yeah.
And then they play a game and they're like, all right, now we're cool now.
Yeah, and like the villain is always like, "All right, respect, I see you, but I'm gonna
Yeah,
win next time."
yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, and the show does that. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like you see a guy literally use his he hits the golf ball so hard that he hits it through a mountain. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, because he gets stuck in a trap. And there's like, oh, there's no getting out of it because there's a giant mountain. So he just smashes the ball through the mountain and just obliterates the mountain. Which is like, that's
Yeah, I mean,
and he
fair
doesn't
enough.
have any. And yeah, he officially doesn't have any superpowers. But yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, I love stuff like that. It's funny.
yeah. All right. All right, I think we're about time. So thanks again, Carlos, for joining. Uh as always, it's a pleasure, and we need you here um on more of these episodes, especially the superhero episodes.
For sure. I love being on here. I mean, last time we talked about Fantastic Four, had a great
Yeah,
time, had a great time talking about Supergirl now. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to joining more.
yeah. You were supposed to be here for Daredevil season 2, but you didn't watch it, so
I still haven't finished that. I have one more episode left.
it's so good.
I'll finish it tonight. I'll turn the TV on. I'll watch it tonight.
All right. Mhm. All right. All right. Well, thank you, Carlos, and thank you everyone for listening and watching. Do remember to subscribe, and we're gonna have another episode next week. Thank you, and bye.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone.